So many new mental states are rising. I mean, it's becoming increasingly obvious that so many are unable to deal with this identity mind, the mind that gives you a name, gives you a you, and from this you, this me, this I is born a purpose. Yeah, and this purpose is an individual purpose. Mental health, mental illness, whatever you want to call it, exists. You know, we have states of paranoia, schizophrenia, personality disorder, bipolar, all these things that possibly could be contributed by alcohol, drugs, possibly childhood trauma, so many things, you see. But this is a different mental disorder. This is I think some of the specialists, and by all means I'm not a specialist, I'm just going by the state of this mind that examines itself much more efficiently and ably than it did when it thought it was solely a person, you see. So many specialists, they speak about narcissism and empathists, and of course you have the greats, Joe Dispenza and Gabamati, who speak about traumas and neurons and all the brain stuff, and Deepak Chopra, more of the universal shift, and then you have obviously the Vedantas and the Buddhists and the Teos, all discussing a more being side, you see. But when a singular person thinks that person is a singular person only, then you're not going to get to the root of what you are. And of course, it frustrates this mind to see so many possible, what you would call, teachers of non-duality and consciousness, and Ramana Maharshi methods, and whatever methods and practices are out there. You just simply don't say, a vocal mantra. I am not the body, I'm not the body, I'm not the body, I'm not the person. You have to, the first thing you have to identify is who is speaking it. Who is speaking it, and what is it speaking it to? And who is taking the information, and who is taking the experience, and who is taking the understanding that there is someone looking, there is a looker, and there's something that this looker can find that can be looked for, and this looked for is going to reveal that something that was looked at. You see, the whole problem is not about the human being having a mental illness or a mental health disorder or whatever you want to call it. It's just a simple fact of, am I truly representing myself in the way that I feel emotionally able to connect to the world and to make that world a whole, wonderful, momentary, wholesome experience. Non-duality is the idea of there's two that has become one, you see? So my mind can pretend that I'm one. I'm one. I'm one with the sofa. I'm one with the device. I'm one with you. But that's a mind still identified with me and the sofa. It's still identifying with there are trees behind me. And you see, this mind that speaks now through many years of education, many years of listening to the language, the words, the meanings, knows that things behind is trees. But they're names. They're simply names. This body is classed as a body, but it's simply a name. Someone somewhere gave this, someone somewhere says body. That's what we're going to call this thing. Many, many centuries ago, maybe. And it's okay to call them trees and call this body. But the association is that there's not a mind, a quality of mind, that is able to actually find out the truth about what the trees are, the body is. A biological expert will tell you exactly through words and identities and names and associations and sounds and vibrations and textures and images what a body is. But what is that? What dwells in the body? Apart from the kidneys, the organs, the brain, the mind, the soul, the spirit. And then we go and say, well, the answer is consciousness. And then the mind says, well, to each one of us, yeah, well, okay, so you found it. So what? What's new? Go back to your mantra. I am not the body, I am not the body, because that's mind that's saying that. It's not a case of you have to become enlightened. The human being is going through an extremely traumatic identification parade right now. Who are you? That's what all the speakers are saying. Who are you? Say, who am I? Yeah, who am I? And an expectation arises. Nothing came. Good. Where is this nothing? Where is this nothing? What does it constitute of? What does this make up? You know, use your mind then. And the mind won't come up with an answer. It'll come up with, well, it's emptiness. Yeah, I'll read a book about it. Buddhism. Yeah, emptiness. Oh no, it's self. I am self now. Yeah. I am self. I'm non-dual. Why are you using the words I am non-dual? That's an identification. You've you renamed yourself. I am no longer the person. I am non-dual. It's the removal of I am. But you have to understand I am. The Buddhists or the Tibetan monks, they chant it every day. It's interpreted in their language, Om. I am. It's the first thing that you recognize when you were born as a baby. I exist, I am. You don't say, I am here. You don't know the difference between where you were before and this, whatever place this is now. Only thing is your eyes are open and there's things happening and there's colours and there's shapes and there's movement. But you don't know what they are. You don't say that's colours, that's shapes, that's movement. You don't want to lose. You see, the identity mind does not want to lose anything. It wants to gain non-duality on top of my duality. I'm not duality. How can you tell the difference? If you can tell the difference between duality and non-duality, you're still the mind. The mind is still in operation. This one's not teaching you. It's just telling you the state of human. When you overcome, when not you overcomes, when there's an overcoming, you see? Perfect example. There are two statements. The first statement someone says, speaks out loud to you personally. Can food be found? What does this mean? It means in our instinctive, natural human way, the one that is asking the question, is looking for food. It's maybe hungry. Can food be found? Open question. It's not saying to you, can you find me food? It's not saying, can I find food? You and I are dispersed of. Can food be found? Same thing. What do you say? Can you find food? Or can I find food? Same thing is, food is the topic. Food is what needs to be in front of us. Our whole language revolves around I, me, and you. So it's not a magical shift. It's just a dehypnosis. But you cannot dehypnotize when you say, I am not the body. Because the mind doesn't want to be dehypnotized. It wants to grow and expand and become the most intelligent mind and face the most painful death when all the information is going to take months and months of, your body's in a furnace and your mind is still trying to get rid of all this stuff, all the bullshit that it collected. Lose the information now. You see? What is a psychologist or a counselor doing? It's emptying your mind, allowing you to speak and speak and speak and speak and speak and speak and speak until all the information has been let free. That's the purpose. They want you to be clean. They want you to be pure. They're not trying to change you into another type of person, another type of being, another type of mind, another quality of, I was Jewel yesterday, non-Jewel today, counselor says I am consciousness today. The counselor and psychologist is emptying the mind, but after the mind is empty, there's a job to do, a real job to do. To go within, because the counselor will still not take away your I. It will not take away your I am. No one can take away your I am. Even if the body goes, your I am remains. So to understand what the speaker is saying, to overcome all mental dispositions and the schizophrenia might still continue, but it will be in a very contented way. It's okay, I know. My mind is schizophrenic. My mind is paranoid. My mind has a personality disorder. But the one that witnesses this is free. You don't say, but I am free. The one that witnesses this is free. The witness is never mind. The witness is never soul, never spirit, never consciousness. The witness is the witnessing, you see. There's not a witness. There's not a solid form witness. Seeing. The seer and the seen. It appears to be the seer seeing the seen. But it's not. It's the seeing. The seeing. The being. What to say? Major turning point in humanity. So many identifying with themselves as a struggling poor me, simple, mental, schizophrenic, depressed, anxious person. And all the teachers are saying, just speak the mantra, just meditate. If you want proper teaching, ask this one. Once a psychologist, if you need it, or you can do it yourself. Any thought that comes into your mind, not this. Even the thought, I am, not this. Even if God walks into the room, not this. Even if an angel flutters through your body in a kundalini state, not this. Even your name, not this. Your sex, not this. Your body, not this. That's just the mind that's being emptied. Then you have a real job. But it's a beautiful job to untangle the relationship between the mind, the body, the soul, the spirit, to reveal the originality of that, what one is, not what I am, what one is. Is the secret at that point. You see, you're not going from jewel to non-jewel. You're going from jewel, right? Me and the world, me, identity, me, Graham, person, and the world, to me, the mind, the body. You're not going closer to non-dual, you're going farther away from non-dual. You're creating so much components. I am the soul, the spirit, the consciousness, the body, the mind, the person, the being, the human. I'm 10 dual. It's not a forward way, you see. It's always a backward way. It's always a dehypnosis, but the dehypnosis itself creates more ideas that you're something more than just a person in the world. So it doesn't make sense to the mind, you see. The mind has always been conditioned, programmed into saying, go from 2 to 1 and 1 to 0. And then all these dimensional seekers say, no, go from 0 to 1 dimension, 2 dimensions, 3 dimensions, 4 dimensions, 7, and you reach 10 dimensions, and then bingo, 0.